Hello again, and welcome to our review of the top 10 performing systems for the week ending February 17th, 2017. For those of you who haven't viewed our first installment last week, my goal here is to provide a simple evaluation and critique of each system to point out both risks and opportunities, and to remind you to exercise discretion when viewing any ranked system that shows potential. Automated system trading is highly competitive, so it's not uncommon to see systems outperform one another with rapid turnover. Also, be aware that these systems are ranked among over 600 systems on our list, and systems are ranked according to total performance. This doesn't necessarily mean that these are the quote-unquote best systems for every investor. Each investor has a different goal and tolerance for risk. Total performance is just one way to rank systems. We can also rank them by drawdown, by live results, by profit factor, and on and on. Our goal here is to take the top performing systems based on total performance and to analyze not only the strengths and weaknesses of the systems, but also the strengths and weaknesses of the ranking system as well. Before we get started, take some time to read our risk disclosure. You can just pause the video or visit our risk disclosure page using this link that you see on the screen. Remember that past performance does not guarantee future results, and that hypothetical results have inherent limitations which should be carefully considered, as some of the systems we will be discussing combine both live and hypothetical trades. Moving up from the number 10 spot to this week's number 1 spot is a gold futures trading system, Gold Driver, by Rising Group. Nothing has really changed much since we reviewed this system last week. The system started trading live at the beginning of this year and to date has shown some positive results, as you can see here in the green. Both tracked and live P&L are positive. Just note the drawdown of 15,810, which again for many investors might seem pretty high. But aside from that, and aside from the fact that it is a relatively new system, it does show some promise, and like every system, like every promising system, you want to exercise discretion and do your homework before you decide to subscribe to it. Number 2 on our list is Alpha Gold by Sora Investments. Okay, Alpha Gold is a new system that hasn't traded live yet. The stats look decent and its hypothetical results seem positive, but the worst drawdown of over 16,000 is something to consider. Number 3, Kappa DAX 30 by Guess Trading. This system had been traded live for 2 months in 2013, both profitable, and twice again in 2015, which, if you were to add up the 2 months of live trading, also showed a profit. However, the total profit and loss for 2015 and 2016 shows consecutive losses adding up to almost negative 30,000. The worst drawdown of 36,123 is also a bit alarming. I'd exercise caution with this system. Number 4, another system by Guess Trading, Optimatrix 30. Similar to the last system we just reviewed, also by Guess Trading, Optimatrix 30 trades the DAX. It's hard to evaluate the live versus tracked P&L because the live trading in 2013 and 2014 was very spotty, though the total P&L for those years seems to have yielded an overall profit. The worst drawdown seems relatively high at 22,197, and similar to the last system again, the last 2 years also accumulated a net loss. Still holding the number 5 spot from last week, Berlin RFQ5, a swing system by developer AI Trading. If you watched our review last week, you might remember that I had issues with this system's volatility. First, note that both tracked and live P&L are negative, and that if you were to look at the equity swings here, you'll notice that it's quite volatile. Again, you have here, for instance, a profit of a little over 2,000, a negative 32,000. Again, the following year, a profit of around 3,000, and it seems to be in the positive range. But if you were to look at each month, you'll notice wild equity swings Again, this is a swing system, and I remember pointing out the fact that it seems like it has the same kind of volatility as a trend following system, although it's not a trend following system. And it made me wonder whether this is something that most investors can stomach in terms of the wild or volatile equity swings that it seems to produce. Number 6 on our list is Rossi Long Mid Cap. This system was developed by Trading Motion, and it trades the S&P Mid Cap futures. A couple of things to point out which perhaps are not very notable. The worst drawdown is fairly high at 14,964. The profit factor, it's at 1.17. It's pretty close to 1. And the winning sessions, 51.5%, is close to 50%. In short, the stats don't show anything unusually outstanding or anything unusually bad besides the high drawdown. Typically, some aspect of the stats, good or bad, will stand out and shed some light on the live trading data, or vice versa. In this case, there isn't much there. 7th on our list, another S&P mid-cap futures trading system, Cirrus ST Mini Midcap by Cirrus Trading. This system started tracking in April 2016. To date, both tracked and live results show a loss. All the results seemed profitable until it started getting tracked. We don't know if it hints at a shift in market dynamics or if the system somehow had been tweaked. We just don't know. And besides its high drawdown of 28,715, and that it had been traded live only once, there isn't much information to make a solid evaluation. Occupying the 8th spot on our list is MNC SP Midcap by AI Trading. This is a new system that just started being tracked this year and has no live trades. The profit factor of 1.9 is higher than average, and its percentage of winning sessions, that is 59%, is also on the higher end. Drawdown seems relatively low at 4,821, and it looks like a decent system just waiting for an early adopter. Second to the last spot on our list is a system called ZAR2 DM. This system by developer BNB has been tracked since 2014, and to date has shown a hypothetical net loss. The average loss is slightly greater than the average win, which means that if the win rate decreases, it may end up an unfavorable system. Also, the worst drawdown is one of the highest that I have reviewed, with a loss of over $40,000. That's pretty much all I can say about the system. And finally, number 10, Joseha 2 Mini Nasdaq. If you watched last week's review, you'll probably remember this system. It was developed by Javier Gonzalez-Bados. It's a promising new system, which means that to date it hasn't yet been traded live. It's waiting for an early adopter, and it's only been tracked since November 2016. However, it has decent hypothetical metrics and a decent profit factor of 1.45. The only caveat here is that, as an intraday system, it appears to place about 10 trades per day. So we don't know what the effect of live slippage will be, nor do we know what kind of order types, as in market or limit orders, are being placed by the system. Order types are important, as limit orders may get filled in a simulation, but not necessarily in a live market. So, as with every new promising system, exercise discretion, but note that the stats for this system seems reasonably favorable. So this concludes our review. Thanks for joining us. And if you have any questions, feel free to send us an email at team@halifaxamerica.com. Thank you again. We'll be back next week for the next review.